She's the reason your uncle's watching the WNBA. The reason cities are begging for new franchises. The reason ticket sales are skyrocketing and arenas are finally packed. And now she's gone. No whistle, no warning, just a bone-deep silence hanging over Gainbridge Fieldhouse. A silence loud enough to drown out every banner, every mural, every LED screen flashing Caitlin Clark's face. She won't play in the WNBA All Star game. She won't light up the three-point contest. She won't step on the court at all. The same star who brought millions of new fans to this weekend has been sidelined with a right groin injury aggravated during the final moments of a hard-fought win over the Connecticut Sun. And this isn't just a missed game. This is a full-blown crisis. A gut punch to a league already tiptoeing across labor fights, exploding viewership expectations, and shaky public trust. Clark wasn't just a player, she was the attraction, the heartbeat of All-Star Weekend. Her absence isn't just disappointing, it's destabilizing. And Adam Silver just pulled the fire alarm. The damage is done. The ripple effect already moving. The question now is, can the WNBA survive the fallout without its brightest star on the floor? And now, she's stuck on the sidelines again this time in her own home state in the most important weekend of the WNBA season. An NBA commissioner, Adam Silver. He's not keeping quiet. He's already gone on record saying Caitlin Clark deserves fair and proper treatment. But let's be clear, that's not just a friendly suggestion. In commissioner language, that's code for, what are you people doing? This isn't the WNBA commissioner speaking. This is the NBA commissioner, publicly calling out how another league is mishandling its most valuable star. That's not a slip. That's not a PR stunt. That's a loaded warning. A spotlight aimed straight at Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA front office. Fix this, because if you don't, the NBA might step in to protect what's quickly becoming its biggest crossover investment. And it's not like this is the first time Clark's been hurt. Earlier this season, she missed several games with a quad injury. Now she's out again, this time with a groin strain. 2 lower body injuries, back-to-back, that never happened at Iowa. She was a warrior, they're never sat out, never cracked. But now, under WNBA lights, the Iron Woman is starting to break, and that's not just bad luck. That's not just bad luck, it's bad management. It's a league failing to adjust to a level of physical play that's clearly out of control. And if you think that's harsh, let's talk about the officiating. It's not just inconsistent, it's reckless. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto a WNBA court, she's been hacked, shoved, tripped, and slammed. And most of it. No whistle, no protection. Everyone notices, players, broadcasters, even on national television. Legends like Rebecca Lobo are breaking down plays and pointing out 4 blatant fouls missed in a single possession. 4. When icons of the sport are calling it out live, what does that say about the people actually wearing the stripes? The truth is, brutal WNBA refs aren't even salaried. They're paid by the game. Many juggle college games on the side, splitting focus across leagues. There's no consistency, no accountability, no clear standard. And when your officials are more part-time than fast food workers, injuries don't just happen, they're expected. Caitlin Clark is the one taking the hits. But the league, it's gambling with the body of its biggest star. And when the stakes are millions in revenue and public trust, why hasn't someone hit the panic button yet? Well, Adam Silver just pulled the fire alarm. But where's WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert in all this chaos? According to critics, completely missing in action. Ask her about Caitlin Clark, and she dodge, deflect, or start name-dropping other players. Veteran journalist Christine Brennan even said Engelbert can't mention Clark without trying to balance the praise with someone else's name. That's not leadership, that's fear. Fear of showing favoritism in a league clinging to parity, while bleeding progress. But here's the truth. Caitlin Clark isn't just one of many. She is the reason millions tune in. Treating her like just another name on the roster is costing the WNBA everything. Just follow the numbers. When Clark plays, ratings explode. When she doesn't, they collapse. Before her groin injury, Indiana Fever games were pulling in nearly 2 million viewers. After, barely 847,000. That's a staggering 53% crash in audience. Not a coincidence, pure cause and effect. ESPN reports WNBA viewership is up 170% year-over-year, and it's no mystery why. If Clark's playing, you're watching. She doesn't attract the audience, she is the audience. And letting her get injured because referees refuse to call fouls, that's not oversight. That's professional negligence. In her last game, it was an absolute circus. 5 technicals, 3 ejections, 2 flagrant fouls. What was supposed to be a professional basketball game looked more like a Backlash brawl. Total chaos. The officials had zero control. And right in the middle of it was Caitlin Clark. Targeted, shoved, battered, and left limping off the court. Marina Mabrey's cheap shot after a dead ball. Initially ruled just a technical, took a full-blown public backlash to upgrade it to a flagrant 2. That's not smart officiating, that's damage control. And reacting after the fact isn't just weak, it's dangerous. Even Clark's coach, Stephanie White, finally snapped. After the Connecticut game, she publicly called out the refs, saying, "Everybody's getting better, except the refs." That wasn't frustration. It was a warning. Live on national television. A head coach begging for her star to stop being punished for her talent. And she's not alone. Coaches across the league are sick of the double standards. A foul in the first isn't a foul in the fourth. A call on one end doesn't mean it'll be called on the other. That's not basketball, it's chaos in sneakers. And if you think it's just about Clark, look no further than Kelsey Plum's on-air meltdown. The system is broken. She snapped after getting hacked over and over again with not a single whistle blown. "I get fouled like that on every possession," Kelsey Plum said. "They just don't call anything." This isn't about one player. This is a league-wide officiating disaster. But Caitlin Clark's injury, it's dragged that crisis under a global spotlight. Now the NBA is watching. So are sponsors. So are TV networks. And so are the fans who are finally ready to fall in love with a reborn WNBA. But here's the heartbreak. This weekend was meant to be Clark's moment. Her big return to Indianapolis for All Star weekend. Her face is everywhere, on buildings, buses, billboards. She's in ads. She's the marketing campaign. The entire city was built around her presence. This was supposed to be her show, her stage. Instead, she's on the bench in street clothes, nursing a groin injury, crushed. She released a statement saying she still helped coach Team WNBA, but that's not what people paid to see. That's not why the league sold out. This was supposed to be a celebration. Now it's a cautionary tale. And don't forget what's looming. CBA negotiations are underway. The current agreement ends in October, and a lockout may be coming. The All-Star game was meant to be a celebration, a shining moment for the league. Instead, it's become a war zone, a painful reflection of everything the players have fought against for years. Poor infrastructure, weak leadership, reckless officiating, and stars like Caitlin Clark being sacrificed in the name of team parity. If the WNBA can't even protect its biggest names, what exactly is there to negotiate in this CBA? The shockwaves aren't just local, they're global. The WNBA no longer holds the monopoly. Overseas leagues offer more money, better healthcare, fewer games, more rest, and maybe most importantly, more respect. If this continues, the league won't just lose viewers or sponsors, it'll lose players, especially if they feel unsafe. And if your biggest star is already sidelined because you failed to protect her, who can blame the next one for walking away? What makes this sting even more is that it was preventable. A league office that actually prioritized safety. Refs who were full-time, well-trained, and held accountable. A commissioner who leaned into Clark's star power instead of watering it down in the name of equality. Any one of those choices could have changed everything. Instead, here we are watching the face of the league sit while leadership calls it bad luck. And now, Adam Silver's patience is wearing thin. The NBA didn't just support the WNBA, it helped build it, fund it, promote it, and carry it forward. And now, they're forced to watch their most valuable investment, Caitlin Clark, get battered by amateur-level officiating and leadership that's nowhere to be found. When Silver speaks publicly, it's not casual opinion, it's a strategic warning. A warning backed by billion-dollar TV deals, expansion blueprints, and corporate sponsorships that hold the league's future in their hands. If the WNBA doesn't clean house immediately, it's not just Clark's body at risk, it's the survival of the entire brand. And here's the hard reality. Clark's injuries aren't just physical, they're symbolic. They scream of everything broken within the system. In 6 short months, she went from unshakable icon to limping in and out of games, not because she's weak, but because the league built around her is in. If this doesn't trigger real change, we'll look back at this weekend not as a celebration, but as a turning point where everything started to fall apart. This All-Star event should have been a crowning moment. Instead, it's an indictment, a blistering reminder that this league still protects tradition over talent, and just fumbled its billion-dollar spotlight. Clark's face may still hang proudly from the banners, but the silence inside that arena where she was supposed to electrify the court is the loudest message of all. It's the sound of failure. And if the WNBA doesn't want that silence echoing into every future season, it needs to pay attention. Adam Silver already is, and he's not alone. That silence doesn't celebrate the opening tip, it lingers. In the rafters, between the cheers that never came, it's there in every camera shot that skips past an empty jersey. In the eyes of little girls wearing no 22 clutching signs they made for a superstar they hoped would soar. Instead, they get a wave from the bench, a scripted statement. Caitlin the assistant coach, not Caitlin the generational talent. And that stings, not just for them, but for the league's integrity, its promise, its future. This All-Star weekend wasn't just a date on the calendar, it was a statement. A showcase, a fresh chapter in the WNBA story. And while the lights are still on, and the court's still polished, something's missing. Without Clark out there, the buzz is muted, the spotlight feels dimmer, the energy, the emotion, the magic gets all just a little less real. The stakes feel lighter. The hype feels forced because the one athlete who gave this weekend, its heartbeat is sitting out due to what can only be called professional negligence. And the most troubling part, there's no urgency coming from league leadership. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark being injured. This is about a league so wildly unprepared for superstardom that it fumbled the biggest opportunity women's basketball has seen in decades. The WNBA begged for the spotlight. It got it, but nothing was ready. Not the system, not the referees, not the medical structure, not even the commissioner. And now, we're watching in real time what happens when ambition charges ahead of preparation. The arena's lit, but the star isn't on stage. What's unfolding is a slow-motion unraveling one that could have been stopped months ago. Remember Marina's shove? That wasn't just a foul, it was a flare gun, a blaring signal that the league was spiraling. But instead of fixing it, the WNBA chose deflection. It's just basketball, they said. It's physical, sure but reckless, preventable, career-threatening. That's not basketball. That's malpractice in disguise. And if they keep calling this toughness, they'll soon find there's nothing left worth being tough for. And Clark isn't standing alone in this spotlight of neglect. She's flanked by names that should command reverence, not resistance. Kelsey Plum, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Aja Wilson. Icons, yes, but also red flags. Each of them has bravely spoken up about reckless officiating and violent physicality on the court. And each time, they're met not with reform, but with silence or worse, smug dismissals. Winners don't complain, they're told, as if acknowledging abuse is weakness. That kind of arrogance isn't just insulting, it's lethal. It tells athletes their bodies are expendable, their pain is inconvenient, their voices are disposable. And when it comes to Clark, that silence is louder. She's not just a breakout rookie, she's the league's financial pulse. ESPN ratings. Caitlin, sold-out crowds. Caitlin merch, flying off shelves. Caitlin, little girls dreaming bigger, all because of her. And yet, this league can't even promise her one safe night on the court. That's not an oversight, that's a collapse. The WNBA had a single duty: protect its stars, spotlight their brilliance, grow the game around them. But instead, it treats them like products expendable after use. Clark isn't a trending topic, she's a movement. And the league is failing, the very force that's carrying its future on her shoulders. And the fact that Clark's injuries keep piling up while league leadership remains silent isn't just disappointing, it's disgraceful. Right now, it's a boiling issue waiting for a spark. Just one headline away from full-blown scandal. Engelbert's inaction isn't just a misstep, it's a costly gamble. Because sponsors, they don't fund dysfunction. TV networks, they don't build schedules around sidelined stars. And fans, they're watching closely, and they're not blind. This isn't bad luck, it's the byproduct of broken systems and backward priorities. And it's already showing. All-Star Weekend resale. Prices, dropping, online buzz, slipping. The fever Clark sparked, fading fast, but the real danger, it's global. The WNBA isn't just being watched at home, it's under a global microscope. The Olympic cycle, international media rights, future European franchises, all depend on one thing: a league that protects its future, not one that sacrifices it. Because if Caitlin Clark, the face of this revolution, ends up remembered not for her game-changing brilliance, but as the face of failure, rising icon undone by league mismanagement, then every potential deal, every dollar, every dream of international growth disappears with her. The time to fix this wasn't later, it was yesterday. And now the clock is running out. The dream begins to dim. The empire they all envisioned starts slipping through their fingers. But here's the truth, it's not over yet. There's still a window, narrow as it may be, to reverse this collapse. Now is the moment to hire full-time referees who understand the weight of every call, to implement an injury protocol that protects, not ignores its talent, and to build a system where coaches and players are heard, not dismissed. The NBA didn't become a global force by luck, it invested, trained, adapted. The WNBA must do the same. And most importantly, the league must stop pretending Clark is just another player in the rotation. She's not. She's the foundation. The reason arenas are packed, screens are tuned in, and young girls dare to dream. If she breaks, the league doesn't bend, it shatters. Even NBA Commissioner Adam Silver recognizes that. His comments weren't for headlines, they were warnings. He knows the cost of silence, the risk of watching momentum die. When he says fairness, he means structure, sustainability, and respect. So, now comes the defining question. Will Engelbert lead with courage, or continue hiding behind empty statements? Will the WNBA act before it's too late, or let its brightest light burn out in silence? The All-Star game will come and go, a fleeting celebration wrapped in lights and noise. But the shadow it leaves behind, that will haunt the league far longer than any buzzer beater. This moment is no longer just about Clark's injury, it's a wake-up call. A glaring reflection of a league that craved the spotlight but forgot to build the stage strong enough to hold it. They wanted the fame, the ratings, the headlines, but weren't prepared for the weight that comes with a phenomenon like Caitlin Clark. And now there's no hiding. The world has heard the cracks. The illusion is shattered. This was meant to be her era golden chapter in WNBA history. Instead, it's spiraling into the Engelbert reckoning, and what the league chooses next will echo for decades. Fix the system, protect your stars, or watch the dream rot from the inside out. Because in pro sports, injuries heal but regret cuts deeper, and fans, sponsors, and the world won't wait around forever to see who had the courage to act before everything collapsed.